channel. My name is Irene and the channel name is TheSimStream, and today I am back yet again with a new speed build video for you. And today I am creating my Rainforest Yoga Retreat. And yeah, yet again I was so excited building this, the interior, the exterior, the whole landscaping. I've had so much fun doing this. And yeah, it had a couple of reasons. I really like yoga and I am in love with the world from the Jungle Adventure Pack in the game, and that is where I'm actually building this lot. It is in Selvadorada and it's just so amazing. Right now it is by far my favorite world in the whole game, and I'm only talking about the environments and all the greens and how the world is just how the world looks. It's so cool, and I'm saying right now because my hopes are very high for the world in the Island Living Pack that will be here in just 2 days. Yay! Today is a Wednesday and tomorrow, of course, is a Thursday, and tomorrow at midnight a new game pack will be there. And yeah, I am so ready for it. And yeah, I really wanted to grab this opportunity to tell you all my plans for the next couple of weeks, my plans for the Island Living Pack, because actually my plan is to rebuild the whole world in that pack. I really want to create a house, a build, a restaurant, something else, a park on every single lot in the new world. And yeah, really recreate the whole world in that way. And yeah, I'm so excited to do it. And I think it will take a couple of weeks. But next Friday I will be getting married, and the week after that I will be on my honeymoon. So the next week I'm going to pre-record a couple of videos that will be there in that week. The week that I am on my honeymoon, there will be some other videos between them too. So I think I will take a couple of weeks to create that whole world. And when I'm finished at the end, I will give you a whole tour over the world and let you see all the different builds and all the different things that I've done with that. So now you know my plans for the next couple of weeks. But let's get back to the builds that I'm creating right now, my yoga retreat. I was just ranting about the whole El Selvadorada world in the Jungle Adventure Pack, and yeah, it's so cool. This lot, just for example, it's on a very high cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff there is a very big river, and there's just rainforest or jungle surrounding it, and the whole views over that cliff, you can see big mountains with trees on it, and it's just so amazing. And that's why I picked this lot, because it isn't actually that big. I think it's a 40 by 30 or 40 by 40 maybe. Yeah, it's a square, right? Yeah, I think it's 40 by 30, 40 by 40, I'm sorry. And there are a couple of bigger lots in this world. I think there's actually one that is 64 by 64. It's a lot where the museum normally is on. And yeah, I really like that lot too. But the lighting on that lot is just a little bit different. It's not at the front of the building, as you know what I mean. And I think it's just too big for a build like this, because I really wanted to give the whole thing a very overgrown feel. I just want to fill it up with plants and palm trees, and yeah, all green. And with the whole 64 by 64 lot, I've had some plans in mind for all the buildings, and the lot was just too big for it. There was just too much space surrounding the building, so it wasn't that fitting. And there's actually another big lot, but it's surrounded with walls and everything. It's the lot where normally the restaurant in this world is on. But this lot is just perfect. And as you can see, my first plan was to create a jungle resort. You can see it at the left upper corner of your screen. And yeah, that was actually, I wasn't that sure about the name for this build at that point when I've put it in. My first plan was to create a hotel or a resort or something, but I've created a Bora Bora resort just a week ago, and I really wanted to do something different. So the moment when I put the jungle resort thing in, I already knew that it would change up. And yeah, I'm really building with a spa day pack lately, and this build isn't any different. And I was just searching all the items, and then suddenly I came across the yoga mats and the meditation thing, and I think I was just a third in the build or something. Or no, I was already there over here, because right now I'm creating the yoga and the meditation cabin. So I already knew that what I was doing when I was at this point in this build. But I saw the yoga mat and the meditation thing, and I just thought, yeah, that would be so cool to do. A yoga retreat in the jungle. Oh, and I really wanted to go there. I love doing yoga. I'm actually not a big fan of sports. Yeah, I'm a big fan of sports, but I'm a big fan of watching sports. I'm not a big fan of doing sports. And especially the running thing, like running, but basketball or soccer or no. I just get so exhausted. And yoga, yeah, it's heavy too, because you can really work your muscles, but it's a very slow sport too. It's very heavy, but it's very slow too, and it's very relaxing too, and I really love to do it. I have phases in my life that I do a lot of yoga, and sometimes I don't do any yoga for a couple of months, and sometimes I do it 5 times a week. But I think it's so relaxing to do. And yeah, if I had all the money in the world and just go on holiday whenever I wanted, I really wanted to go to a yoga retreat too. And with that thing in mind, I really wanted to create a retreat where I would want to go if I was a sim. So yeah, that's how I came up with this build. Normally I'm a big fan of Pinterest. I always use Pinterest when I'm building, just to gather inspiration or to have a starting point in my builds. And most of the times the whole build turns out completely different than the picture that I found on Pinterest. But this time I did it in a different way. I actually draw the whole thing out on a piece of paper first. Not all the buildings in the hole where the roof is going and everything, but I draw the water out and where the different buildings would be going. And yeah, after that I just started building, and it was such a cool process, and it was so much fun to do, and I really wanted to do it more often. And yeah, as you can see, the whole exterior already is finished. The buildings, of course, because there are going to be a lot of landscaping into this. As you can see, I'm painting the ground surrounding the water right now in this brown, and I think the whole thing just make it look so much more realistic. The big building at the right of your screen, at the back of this build, will be the main building in this build. There will be a reception, there will be a lounge room, a kitchen, there will be a small bar area, outdoor bar area. And the first floor, there will be the sauna or the spa. I think that was very fitting for a yoga thing. I think going to the sauna is just as relaxing as doing yoga, just as zen as doing yoga. So I really wanted to put a sauna into it too. And as you can see, I'm creating this bridge route now, and I did it in a different way than I normally do, and I really wanted to tell you how I've done this. Normally when I want to make a bridge, I will create just with the basement tool just a path in the water, and it isn't actually a path in the water, it's just ground, and I create a floor thing on it with foundation under it, but it isn't actually over the water. So yeah, I was figuring out how to do it, and this time I've done it differently. As you can see, I've built just a room, and I built a room on top of the room. So you've had a first floor, then I removed the bottom floor, and then I lowered the first floor, the upper building, with the foundation tool. I lowered the whole thing down just over the water, and in that way you can make a bridge over the water that is really over the water, but isn't with things under it. And yeah, I was so excited because I thought, oh, maybe that's a way to build over water more often, over pools or anything. And I know in the next pack you can just build over water with the whole poles under it. So I really have to see how the next pack will be and everything. But I think I could do so much more with that trick I figured out. And yeah, I really wanted to use it more often. And I never saw it before. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people that are already aware of this trick. So I'm sure that isn't anything new. But I was so excited that I found how to do it. So yeah, I really wanted to tell you all. But let's go back to the buildings. The other slightly big building, over there will be 2 rooms to stay in, 2 rooms with 2 big beds. And the left cabin will be a place to do your yoga, and the right cabin will be a place to do your meditation. And yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of plants in this build, but it just had to be in it because it's in the rainforest. And I wanted to tell you how I came up with the whole rainforest thing. I just thought it sounded more cool than jungle. And that's why I call it the rainforest. And I think the difference is a jungle can be in a rainforest, but a rainforest can't be in a jungle. I think that's the most simple way to explain it. But I just thought it sounded cooler. So that's why I've used the rainforest thing. It doesn't has any other meaning or something, but that's why I've used it. And later on you can see I will put a lot of lights in this build. And I had a struggle with the lights. I really like to change the color of the lights, especially outside, because I think it gives the whole build a totally different feel and a different vibe when it's not the bright white color, but just a little bit different. And I've changed the color this time in an yellow orange color. But it was a little bit of a struggle because normally you can click in live mode on your sim. No, I'm sorry. You don't have to click on your sim, you have to click on the lights. I'm placing in the lights right now, as you can see. This light I just found when I was building this, and it was so fitting for it. So I've put so much light into the whole thing. But normally when you want to change your light color, you can click on the light and then you get the option to change color and intensity, and then you get a whole menu with different colors and everything. And I did it and the whole menu wasn't showing up. And I was on Google and I couldn't find it anywhere. And after I think an hour of searching, I found the solution. And it was actually this. I always use cheat codes when I'm building. I always use the bb.moveobjects cheat, the bb.ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement cheat. That cheat is actually very handy. Normally you have to unlock some items with different careers. For example, if you're a painter and you're very high in your career, you can unlock, I think, different kind of easels and stuff. But when you use that cheat code, you can just use them immediately. And I also always use the show hidden objects cheat. You can get a whole debug mode with all kinds of different hidden objects. And I think they're actually the objects that the creators use to create the whole world. But this time I also use the headline effects of a cheat. And with that cheat, you can remove the plumb up of your sim. And I knew I wanted to create a different intro this time. As you could see at the beginning of this video, normally I've had a couple of screenshots just behind each other, but for this build I really wanted to do something different, and I'm going to use this same method in the next builds I'm doing. I saw there are a lot of people that are using that method, and it's just so cool, and it makes the whole building just looks so cool. But I think it spoils it a little bit when you have a sim walking in the build and they have the plumb up over their head. So I used the cheat headline effects off to remove the plumb up. And it also removes the menu with the colors when you want to change up the lights. And it took me so much time to figure it out. And there were so many solutions that were saying just quit your game and restart it. So I did it. I restarted my game. The first thing I do when I'm loading up the game was typing all the cheat codes, because it's always the first thing I do when I started. And And I was trying it again, and it still wasn't working. But I know now, now I know why it wasn't working. But it was so annoying. But well, it worked out very good. So, okay. And yeah, as you can see, I am onto the interior right now. Over here, I am creating the reception. In the other room, the closer room, there will be the kitchen. I already created the bar area. As you can see, there will be a lounge room in this building too. As I was saying, and in the rest of the video, you can see how I am creating that. There will be 2 rooms to stay in. There will be a cabin to do your yoga, and there will be a cabin to do your meditation. And yeah, you can see that in the rest of this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video. The next time I'm talking to you, island living is already here. Yay! So yeah, I really hope to see you then or talk to you then. If you have some questions for me, how I did certain things. Oh, I already was finishing up. I really wanted to tell you something about these lights. You can see I've used plants to create these lights. It isn't actually my own idea. The Legacy did it before. And it's so easy to do. Just use a hanging light. I've used a lantern, as you can see over here. And just pick the plant that you want to use and use the 9 key to raise up the plant. And yeah, you get these plant lights, and yeah, I really like them, and I think I'm going to use them in the island living pack too, in my island living builds. But well, I was finishing up already. I don't remember what I've said already, so I think there's just one thing left to say. I hope you will have an amazing day, and I hope to talk to you very, very soon. Goodbye.